Hi, you're on the Alice Reddit Stories channel. Subscribe to my channel as well as to my Facebook, the link is in the description. Enjoy watching. Hi Internet. I think I know what to do, but still wonder if I should. Almost a year ago to the day, I found out my GF had sex with another man. Seeing the clues in the months leading up to the discovery caused me to experience major depression. She never could say she would end it if I hadn't found out. He was her rebound from her ex-husband and I was the one she got together with, later moving in. We'd been in a relationship for over 10 years. I'd been the main breadwinner and during her worst time, her dad going into care and eventually passing, covered all bills except groceries. House is mine and I never asked her to pay anything toward it, even maintenance. After the initial betrayal, I heard her out and accepted my part in what caused her to justify cheating. We went to couples counseling. I made changes. However, it's been a sticking point in the past year that, even according to my friends, she's been half-assing it. Talking of the future was not a two-way conversation, communication and intimacy seemed forced sometimes. About a month ago, I found her second phone. It had a SIM. It had a message notification from a specific app. I told her to show me and by the time she did, I now know, she deleted the app. She told me it was for her son, teen, who is with us every other week and that she had forgot to take the SIM out. She seemed contrite and claimed to have taken the phone away and got rid of the SIM. I took her at her word even though I was having trouble with trust, still, see above. We talked about the half-assing, etc., and I let myself believe. This morning I found the same phone. She tried to pull the same stunt but I had taken a photo of the notification. Believe it or not, she tried to be mad at me for finding it. Believe me, Reddit, there were so many clues that caused me to figure something was up. Her claim, she felt bad about suddenly cutting contact, one of my conditions, and, when she got the phone from a friend for her son, decided to get a SIM and contact him to apologize. Then kept chatting just about day-to-day stuff. Over the course of more than a month, I'm sure. She's out of the house with enough stuff to stay at her mom's. I feel like some plans were in the works for this weekend. Or maybe my trust/truth sense is that broken at this point. Kind of messed up that I still want to believe her that she wasn't intended to get with him again. What do you think, Reddit? Should I entertain a conversation on the basis of the 10+ years together or just start packing up her stuff? TLDR, she cheated after 10 years, we were working it out the past year, found out she's been chatting with the guy for at least a month on a second phone. Edit, thanks everyone who commented. You helped me steel my resolve. Time to let go. I don't know if I will post an update. My husband and I have been married for 2 years now, and things are not perfect. We're both type A personalities with 6-figure jobs and very big egos. We both really like to win, and when we disagree, it can be very difficult to resolve. We are trying to be better, and we do love each other deeply. Neither one of us wants a divorce, and we want things to work, we get each other like nobody else does. My husband and sister are very close. When she found out we were getting married, she was overjoyed. They text each other frequently and are always very happy to see each other. We recently took a family trip to a beach house. My siblings were there, their spouses, my parents, my nieces and nephews, and me and my husband. I was tired, so after dinner I decided to lay down. I woke up, it was late, and my husband wasn't in bed. I walked out of the room and saw my sister and husband on the couch. She had her feet in his lap, and they were talking softly. I know I shouldn't have, but I hung back to see if I could hear anything. My sister asked a question that I couldn't really hear, but seemed to be struggling to phrase. My husband said, yes. The answer is yes. And yes, the answer is no. She replied, I know. I went back in our room at that point, and I've been reeling ever since. I'm worried about what they were saying, but I'm scared to say I was eavesdropping. I never saw them that close before, and it seemed like crossing a line. Do I tell him not to talk to her anymore? Do I ask her what was said? I feel like no matter what I do I look crazy. TL, found my husband quasi-cuddling with my sister and overheard a very cryptic exchange. No idea what to do now. Edit, what not scat, though it seems an awful lot like scat. Update, 35F, my husband, 37M, said something weird to my sister, 32F. It's been about a week since I posted. I walked in on my husband and sister in a very intimate position whispering to each other, and I heard half of a conversation. My husband said the answer was yes and the answer was no. Family dynamics. I have 3 siblings, Mark, 38M, Lucy, 34F, and Ashley. Don't forget to support my channel by subscribing, thank you. 32F. Mark is married with 2 daughters and a son, Lucy is married with 1 son, I am married with no children, and Ashley is single with no children. In terms of relationships, I am closest to Mark and Ashley is closest to Lucy. I talked to Mark about what I'd seen and he got very angry. He told me that I needed to say something to my husband, Derek, or he would. I decided to take a chance and called up Lucy. I explained what I had seen, and she was very quiet. She told me she knew what was going on, and it's not what I think, but that I should talk to Derek and Ashley. When Derek got home from work, I told him we needed to talk and told him I had overheard them talking the other night. He nodded but didn't say anything. I told him that I needed him to be honest about the relationship between him and Ashley. Ashley and Derek both suffer from depression. There are days I come home and find Derek laying expressionless on the couch. This was odd to me at first, and I tried to motivate him but realized that when he has a bad day like that, I just need to accept that he's not going to get off the couch or do anything until it's time to go to bed. I will put a blanket on him, make him tea, sit with him, and put something lighthearted on the TV, and he's usually better the next day. Ashley is constantly overwhelmed, feels like she's letting everyone down, and has very bad depression spells. The first Christmas I was seeing Derek, she had one, and she was on the verge of tears all morning. Her mood improved towards the middle of the day, and that's when she and Derek became good friends. She later on told me that Derek talked her through things and helped her to feel strong enough to get through the day. It was actually one of the things that made me fall in love with him, that he looked after my family and stepped up to help Ashley. Derek explained that they had become close over the years and had really been able to lean on each other when depression struck. After I went to lay down, they hung out with Mark, Lucy, and their spouses having a few drinks together. When everyone decided to head to bed, Ashley could not find one of her AirPods. So she and Derek were crawling around on the kitchen floor looking under the cabinets, appliances, and the table and chairs to find it. They were both drunk, in close quarters, and got very giggly. They eventually found it and sat down on the couch to talk. He claimed she put her feet in his lap to be playful and they both started laughing. He admitted that he had talked to her about the fact we hadn't been intimate in 6 months and how he felt like I shut him out when he needed affection. She talked about how he was the only person that she ever felt safe and comfortable with in her life. She never got the question out, because he anticipated it. He said she said something along the lines of, "When we're together, is there a feeling, like do you feel?" Which is when he told her the answer was yes, and then told her that the answer was no before she could say anything else. He told her that he loved me and wanted to work through our issues. He said that he would always love her, but it would always be as a sibling. He said that they spoke the next day when they were sober and agreed that they needed to set boundaries and not let themselves get that close with each other. He showed me his phone and that he and Ashley hadn't texted since that day. He told me that he only wanted to be her friend, but recognizes that they were both very near lines that should not and could not be crossed and they needed to cool off and redefine their friendship. He swears that's all that happened. I want to believe him because the portion I overheard lines up with what he told me happened, and I did not tell him what I overheard. I called Lucy back, and she confirmed that this is what she heard from Ashley. When I spoke to Ashley, she cried a lot and kept apologizing. She said she knows she crossed a line and swears on her life she would never try to take my husband from me. She promised that she wouldn't ever cross that line again and told me she loves me about 1,000,000 times. I don't really what to do now. Derek and I are talking about our intimacy issues in addition to everything else and trying to be more open about our feelings. We're going to be bringing this up in therapy and trying to figure out a way to deal with things. This really was a bombshell, and while not as bad as I thought it could be, I'm really not happy with how it turned out. TLDR husband and sister were verging on an emotional affair. They ended things the night I caught them taking without realizing I had overheard. Now trying to process and deal with everything. Yesterday my mom, sister, and I went to look at houses since my mom is hoping to move soon since her husband, my stepfather and my sister's bio dad, passed away 3 months ago. While looking at a house's backyard, my sister approached a neighbor's horse while my mom and I hung back and I yelled for her not to touch the horse since she didn't have permission. This set her off as she was upset I yelled, which could have spooked the horse. She continued to touch the horse again and I yelled again, which I admit probably wasn't the best thing to do. As we were leaving, she was noticeably upset by this situation and gave my mom the silent treatment except to let us know we needed to get home so she can take her medication. We rushed to get home, but my mom talked about possibly needing gas. I told my mom we needed to get home so my sister can take her meds, and I guess she didn't hear why we possibly needed to stop since she said loudly, "Didn't you hear me the first 3 times I said we needed to get home?" We kept quiet and instead drove home, despite being dangerously low on gas. When we made it home, my mom asked if she could take in the food from our lunch earlier since it was in the seat beside her, and she said I need to take my medication in a rude tone and walked inside slamming the door. When we got inside, she had taken the meds and was hugging her boyfriend who was working from home in my mom's office room. When my mom came in she asked my sister why she couldn't have taken in the food and just be nice to her instead. At this point, my sister starts screaming at my mom to shut the fuck up and telling her to go fuck herself. My mom gets upset by this and starts to yell back at my sister. I'm in the kitchen, so I didn't see the full confrontation, but I can hear my sister yelling for my mom to hit her first, that she was going to push her again. A few weeks back she had pushed my mom into a dresser, leaving a nasty bruise, and that she hopes my mom dies alone. At one point my mom screams, then rushes out of the room, saying she's calling the cops, and has me take a picture of her shoulder where there is a huge bite mark on her shoulder where she has obviously been bitten very hard by my sister. My sister also spit in her face. My sister ends up leaving the house in her car and with her boyfriend, and my mom is upset but tells my sister's boyfriend she's bluffing and does not want to call the cops. My mom even asks me to give my sister money the next day, which I did, but immediately regretted after she texted me incredibly mean things. All day and night I've been upset with myself for not calling the cops myself and reporting this. At this point, I want to call the police on my sister and report her, as I feel like she doesn't understand what she has done and is blaming me and my mom for her acting out. However, I don't believe my mom will press charges even with the photo evidence I have. I also can't help but love my sister, and I know with her dad's death this is so difficult, and I know doing this will drive a wedge between us forever. I'm also currently living with my mom while my fiancé and son are in another state getting our house ready to sell so I can move closer to my mom during this tough time. I'm afraid my sister may come home and retaliate, or my mom may kick me out. Is reporting this even my place when the victim isn't wanting this? TLDR, my sister hurt my mom and now I'm torn on if I should report since it's against my mom's wishes. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel. There are many interesting articles ahead.